Supreme Court decision, Tinubu prevails on the law, but it's not a legitimate. It's not a legitimate one. Can you imagine? So Soyinka has published or made another publication now, trying to say that Tinubu prevailed against the law, but it's not a legitimate one. Ha. Now for Soyinka, I know people must have blasted him for speaking from both sides of his mouth. And how does that go down with Nigerians? That's the question here. Okay, Supreme Court verdict: Tinubu wins legal victory but lacks legitimacy. That is how it is being captioned again in another area. Okay, so the winning so far is not a legitimate one. So he won on the side of the law, but not really. That is why Tinubu's government is struggling with legitimacy, trying to legitimize whatever he thought he has gathered and the so-called winning, but he's not been able to do that yet. It's still a burden on him. So Tinubu's winning has a burden of legitimacy along with it. But let's hear what Soyinka has more to say in his write-up. Professor Soyinka, Africa's first literature novel laureate, published his critically acclaimed novel, Chronicles from the Land of the Happiest People on Earth, in the September 2021. So he probably did not have the 2023 presidential election and Bola Tinubu, who emerged as president, in mind when he wrote the book. However, reading the novel, one gets the impression that Professor Soyinka shadowed the election and its aftermath. So in a post-publication interview with the Financial Times, Professor Soyinka said he wrote the book to confront Nigeria with its true image. Indeed, Sir Ben Okri, the recently knighted Nigerian-British writer, described the book as Soyinka's magnus opus on the state of his homeland. Of course, when someone writes a novel or she has no control, he or she has no control over the reader's or how the reader interprets it. More so when the novel is very similitude, having an appearance of reality. Therefore, for me, Professor Soyinka's novel provides a powerful framework for analyzing the 2023 presidential election, the Supreme Court verdict, and Tinubu himself. This article is also an attempt to confront Nigeria with its true image. Some ostrich-like ignore the reality, but this year's presidential election and its fallout will have far-reaching consequences for Nigeria's democratic development and political stability. So let's examine the situation through the prism of Professor Soyinka's extraordinary political novel. The novel's main character is Dennis TBJ, who later changed his name to Papa Davina. So the narrator described TBJ as the man whose origins remain a cause for endless speculation. He claimed Lagos ancestry, but his explanation for claims of Lagos origins was that he was seared into a Lagos household. TBJ left Nigeria for America under mysterious circumstances but got into troubles with the U.S. authorities. However, by the time he returned to Nigeria, TBJ, a man with all-engrossing ambition, had assumed a new name, a new history, a new beginning, a new life. Professor Soyinka says that the novel includes one or two characters modeled on friends, but although Tinubu is close to Soyinka, it is doubtful that he is one of the friends. However, anyone who follows the controversies around Tinubu's identity and origins will conclude that the character Soyinka constructed in TBJ has a striking resemblance to Tinubu. The dubious identity, the questionable claims of Lagos ancestry, and the transition from the unknown TBJ to the all-powerful and manipulative Papa Davina are well Tinubu-esque. So by ignoring substantive justice and validating Tinubu's questionable election based on the technicalities, the Supreme Court gives him legal victory but denies him legitimacy. That is it. But moving away from character description, the novel gives us insightful commentary on Nigeria's elections. In one scene, a character boasts that his party has done its arithmetic, uh, cash arithmetic, and tog arithmetic. Could not be smart, you know. In another, a character says, you know, there are no elections. Everything is decided in advance. Well, the truth is, in this year's presidential election, the ruling party, its candidates and allies did the arithmetic, cash arithmetic, and tog arithmetic. And not a few will swear that the outcome was decided in advance. However, the book's most opposite analogy is the 1986 World Cup quarterfinals between England and Argentina, which Diego Maradona scored the controversial goal, which he later called the hand of God. Soyinka captures the story brilliantly in the novel. Here him. There was a goal, some cried foul, and so it seemed the moment was caught on camera, played and replayed afterward. How come the referee, the two linesmen, were so positioned that they did not see the foul? The ball had indeed been handled, the goal remained validated. The Maradona analogy is opposite because it is parallel or read across with this year's presidential poll. But simply, there was a controversial presidential election. INEC, the referee supported by returning officers, called themselves linesmen, ignored the blatant foul play and declared Tinubu winner. And just as FIFA refused to invalidate Maradona's controversial goal, the Supreme Court declined to nullify Tinubu's controversial election. It was therefore baffling that Professor Soyinka later accused Peter Obi, Labour Party's presidential candidate, of doing gbadue, that is forcing a lie on Nigerians by claiming he won the election. In truth, it is Tinubu who has done gbadue on Nigerians and got away with it. He did gbadue in 2015 when he inflicted Muhammadu Buhari on a three-time presidential loser, presidential election loser and disastrously inept leader on Nigeria in a quid pro quo Faustian deal. He did gbadue when he staked a claim for the presidency based on Emiloko, it is my turn, and used his bottomless slush fund to muzzle his way through his party's primary to secure his ticket. He did gbadue when he declared that his approach to getting power was to grab it and run with it at all costs, and actually grabbed and ran with the presidency at all costs. So in any considered opinion, Tinubu did not win the presidential election. The first result came in from the southwest, his supposedly political stronghold. He performed poorly, winning only 2.3 million votes, just 53% of the total valid votes. So he lost Lagos and Osun states, only won Ekiti and Oyo state with the help of PDP renegades led by former Governor Ayafaishe and Governor Seyi Makinde. Then the North's result came in. He lost Kano, Kaduna, and Katsina states. Despite his, pernicious Muslim ticket, he won only one of the 6 states in the northeast. His Muslim running mate's geopolitical zone. In all, he won only 6 of the 19 northern states. The 5.6 million votes attributed to him from the north certainly lacked authenticity. Furthermore, he had just 927,327 votes in the South and Southeast combined. So he was losing the election, or it was tending towards a rerun. Then INEC struck. The BVS IREF technology that worked perfectly for the National Assembly polls the same day suddenly failed for the presidential election. The rest is history. Oh boy. But leaving aside judiciary's acute corruption and dysfunction, the truth is that no election petition court will remove a sitting president in Nigeria. Pragmatically, a verdict removing a sitting president who has entrenched himself in office and surrounded himself with lawyers, security chiefs, would be hard to enforce, or it would be extremely disruptive. So, so what is it here now? Okay, so by ignoring substantive justice and validating Tinubu's questionable election based on technicalities, the Supreme Court gives him legal victory but denies him legitimacy. What's more, by wholly endorsing this year's deeply flawed presidential election, the Supreme Court makes free and fair presidential election a mirage in Nigeria. The verdict is a license to grab power at all costs that puts Nigerian democracy and political stability in danger. That is exactly what the Supreme Court succeeded in doing. I think this book that Soyinka wrote, somebody need to have it. That is it. Somebody need to have it and read it. There are a few comments here. Somebody say, shut up your mouth to be professor. This is a man that speaks from both sides of the mouth. Well, Soyinka is an elder that speaks from both sides of his mouth. Okay? Peter Obi did graduate without security apparatus and without even a state assembly lawmaker before the election, and yet won the same 12 states he proclaimed winner won. Tinubu, who said Emilokon did not do graduate, elders like Wole Soyinka should be remembered for their destruction of democracy in Nigeria. Exactly, very reasonable. Someone says, this is a nonsensical write-up. It is only your people that do not accept Tinubu as president. Most people do. So what legitimacy can you have more than the reception given to him by the powerful and the mighty, from Britain to America to France? Who are those? Somebody say you have seen this write-up as nonsensical because the truth contained therein is against your man or what you believe in. I hope you can remove the veil of bias over your eyes and see better. The future will tell who is right. That is it. So that is what Soyinka has written, and he wrote this book in 2019 or thereabout, or 2021 rather, and that was far before the election happened. So, and this book actually painted the character of Emilokon Tinubu very well in that book. And it's a book somebody will need to go and look for, I tell you, because it's going to say a lot about Tinubu's background and history. So thank you for listening.